You know, one of the most powerful tools or skills that you can master, it's the ability to regulate yourself when you're experiencing any type of discomfort, physical discomfort, mental discomfort, emotional discomfort. Because in the ability to keep yourself regulated and expand your capacity to handle some of this discomfort, you build self-mastery. And in this video, I want to talk about what I've found to be the most powerful way to do this, which is very simple. And it's something that is a foundation of the way I coach my clients and how I try and help them build mastery in their lives. So I find that everything comes back to your mind and the way that we perceive things. And that could be the way that we perceive an emotion, the way that we perceive a physical sensation. And it's usually our mind that creates or amplifies a lot of discomfort in our lives, or creates a lot of internal suffering, anxiety, whatever that looks like. And a lot of times we think about, okay, well, how can I calm my mind down? And so we try and think of ways to calm the mind. I'm going to think positively about a certain situation when I'm having negative self-talk, or I'm gonna try and think my way out of this mental state. But you can't necessarily calm your mind with your mind. What I've come to realize is the mind follows the body and what your nervous system, the state of your nervous system. So if you're extremely dysregulated, you feel very unsafe, because that's the primary question your nervous system is always scanning your environment for and asking is, am I safe? And when it doesn't feel safe, that's when you start to have all of this chaotic thinking, racing heart, different somatic symptoms, if you will. And so the key is to actually be able to regulate yourself. And I've talked about this in other videos. So when you're having this mind spiral, this anxiety or whatever it is, trying to think your way out of it will only create more thought. It only creates more of that inner mental chaos. Whereas if you can learn to come back to breath and be in your body and be still, even though it might be difficult, I found that this is probably the most profound and powerful practice that I've ever implemented. And you can essentially look at it as a meditation. But the way I look at meditating is it's kind of the intentional practice of I'm sitting down for 5 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever it is, and I'm just breathing. I'm focusing on my breath, or whatever type of meditation. There's all kinds of different meditations. This is a practice that you can use at any point in time during the day in your life, whenever it is. Because, our mind is always going, and quite often we're unaware of what's actually going on within ourselves, emotionally, mentally, physically, even sometimes. We're so used to running on autopilot so that we're so disconnected from awareness within. And it's awareness that actually helps to regulate the nervous system, because awareness precedes everything. It precedes your thought. It precedes any experience that you can have, what you hear, what you see, what you feel, whatever it is, even your nervous system, it precedes that. You can only experience something when you're first aware of it. But quite often what happens is we see something, we hear something, we experience something, and all of a sudden we assign a mental label to it, a mental interpretation. And it's that interpretation that causes us to feel a certain way, do certain things, and then we just live compulsively from this way of being, if you will. And I call it basically just unconscious living, compulsive living. So to come back into consciousness is to just slow down and to, again, come back into your body. So you're not just living from your mind. It's the mind that is causing the chaos through the automatic interpretations and labels and judgments of things, which is fine. It's not about necessarily stopping the mind. It's not about identifying with it anymore so closely, I guess. It's about, again, coming back to breath, because when you come back to breath, you stabilize. Maybe not right away, maybe not in 1 minute, maybe not in 5 minutes, maybe in 10 minutes. Again, it's a practice. It's like a muscle that you strengthen within yourself. And this is why I do like meditation, because you're intentionally strengthening this awareness muscle, this mindfulness muscle. And the stronger it becomes, the more easily you can regulate yourself in the heat of the moment, when you're triggered, when you're frustrated, when you're scared, when you're anxious, whatever it is. But so often we try and think, okay, it's meditation doesn't work. I can't calm myself like that. I can't just snap out of it. Well, it's difficult because we're so used to living from this compulsively and automatically identifying with thoughts. It's like, imagine if you were out in the real world and you were, someone asked you if you could lift something and you don't go to the gym, and you got upset with yourself because you couldn't lift it and it was a heavy object. Well, I mean, yeah, you're not going to be able to lift it because you never trained your body to be able to do something like that. You can't get upset with yourself for something that you haven't put the work in for. I don't think that this is any different. The weights of life, spiritually or mentally, are these triggers, these things that cause this inner disturbance within. And so often we try to snap out of it right away, or lift that heavy weight, metaphorically speaking, and we can't because we never trained ourselves. So this is the way you can train yourself to manage yourself, to regulate yourself when you're in the heat of the moment. And as I said at the beginning of the video, I think this is the most important or powerful practice that you could have in life, because it's self-mastery. I've said this a lot, we're the only constant in life. To go through life and not have mastery over this is to kind of just be like a leaf blowing in the wind with no sense of control over yourself. You don't always have control over life, and that's fine. It's kind of like that saying, you might not be able to control the waves, but you can learn how to surf. This is learning how to surf in life. It's self-management, self-mastery, self-regulation, and nervous system regulation by coming back to awareness and breath and just being able to sit still, observe yourself, come back to breath, and recognize that the emotions, the inner disturbance, the negative talk, when you just let it be and not try to change it, not entertain the thoughts by thinking about it more, or like adding fuel to that fire, you begin to come back into balance within yourself. Things begin to stabilize. I think Lao Tzu, I think he had a great quote, and he said, muddy water becomes still when you just let it be, essentially. It's true. Like if you stir up a muddy pond, you can't see through the water because there's mud all over the place. But if you allow that water to sit and don't try to clear it, because by trying to clear the muddy water, you're only creating more of a stir. If you can just allow it to sit, and over time, things settle down. The same is true with your mind, your body, your internal experience. It doesn't mean that your mind isn't thinking anymore. It means you're able to regulate yourself independent of that this doesn't control your entire life experience anymore. And again, the mind is extremely powerful. It's probably I'm willing to say it is the most powerful tool on earth. And many of us don't know how to harness the power of that. Instead, it controls us. It's kind of like phones or computers, extremely powerful devices. And they are using us in life for the most part. We're not using them. They have completely hacked our brains And we are just compulsively using them, consuming content all the time. It just controls us. It's funny, Prince had a really good, I think he was accepting an award. And I love this speech of his. I think it was like a 1997 acceptance speech. And he basically said that in 97, the internet's a cool thing, but when you get on your computer, make sure you're using it, it's not using you. Really good speech, look it up. And he was definitely ahead of his time with that speech. And I think it's very true, not only with computers or phones or technology, but with our minds. We haven't, for the most part, we go through life unconscious, not understanding how to actually use the power of what it is to be a human being. And that is extremely powerful, more powerful than AI or, anything else. You just have to learn how to master this first through this very simple practice daily. Deny the flesh, be aware of the compulsions, the urges, and be in the discomfort and not allow it to control you. Because for many of us, if we're used to living compulsively from urges, from emotions, from thoughts, it's very difficult to get out of that compulsive way of living, that autopilot way of being. And we lose ourselves. We become very disconnected from ourselves. We get caught up just chasing instant gratification, pleasure, whatever it is. And it leads us into feeling bored, discontent, depressed even, if you go long enough living this way, and just lacking purpose and meaning. Those things, those deeper things, the deeper sense of fulfillment comes from coming back to yourself, back to consciousness, awareness, presence, the now, as Eckhart Tolle would say, or Eckhart Tolle. So I hope this video helps you. This is, again, it's a practice. It's like you're lifting weights, and when you go and lift weights, you start off with lighter weights and you build up to it. And you've got to feel weak at times in order to get stronger. So the times when you're triggered and you feel like your mind's getting the best of you, and you feel like, oh man, I just feel weak to my mind, that's okay. You got to feel weak in order to get stronger. You're actually getting stronger when you're aware of it. But you're aware of it. You're aware of a pattern that you once weren't aware of before, and that is the first step to actually changing anything. So be kind and compassionate with yourself as you embark on this journey of being able to regulate yourself, to expand your capacity to withstand discomfort, inner disturbance. It's the path to self-mastery. It's the path to inner peace. It's the path to a conscious, mindful, meaningful life. And it's not like there's a destination to arrive at. Like, oh, when I'm regulated, my life's I'll get there, I'm done. No, it's a daily, this is a way of life, a way of being. And there's days that are sometimes better than others, and that's okay. We're all human. So, as I said, I hope this video helps you. Come back to yourself. Begin to master this mind-body vessel, and have all the peace that you want. So, see you in the next video.